Sometimes, the darkest moments in our lives appear as if they were an unstoppable storm, an overwhelming disorder that threatens to dismantle everything we have built. It seems as though everything is working against us, that every step we take pulls us further away from the right path. However, this is precisely the moment where life holds its most profound lessons, its most powerful meanings. And today, this message did not reach you by mere chance. Everything that has led you to this moment is part of a greater design, a tapestry woven beyond what is visible, guided by a force that has always been working in your favor. The idea that there are no coincidences may be difficult to accept when we are facing hardships. However, when we look beyond appearances, we find that even the most challenging events contain a hidden logic, a purpose that can only be understood when we connect the dots in hindsight. Every setback, every detour, and every apparent loss are pieces of a puzzle that, with time, reveal a clearer picture of who we are and where we are meant to go. To grasp this, we must shift our perception of chaos. In physics, chaos is not the absence of order, but rather a complex system operating under principles beyond our immediate understanding. Likewise, the challenges in our lives are not random occurrences. They are part of a larger flow, a movement propelling us toward where we truly need to be. This principle is reflected in theories such as the butterfly effect, which illustrates how even the smallest actions can have a profound impact on the grand scheme of our existence. When we begin to view our lives through this lens, a new question arises. Why, then, do difficult moments feel so overwhelming? The answer lies in our resistance. The human mind is wired to seek control and stability, yet life, in its essence, is a continuous stream of transformation. By resisting change, we perceive challenges as threats rather than opportunities. But when we release that resistance, when we allow ourselves to flow with what is happening, we discover that even most painful experiences are shaping us, preparing us for something greater. Consider the transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly. Within its cocoon, the caterpillar literally dissolves into a liquid state before emerging as an entirely different being. From the outside, this process might seem like total destruction, but from within, it is a rebirth. Similarly, the moments of upheaval in our lives are not indications that all is lost, but rather signs that we are in the midst of profound transformation. It is within this seeming disorder that the magic of growth truly unfolds. Now, let's reflect on the apparent contradiction that everything is against you, yet everything is in your favor. This paradox holds a powerful truth. What seems to be a force pushing you down is in reality the same energy propelling you forward. Quantum physics offers an intriguing analogy, the concept of wave-particle duality. The same entity can behave as either a wave or a particle depending on how it is observed. Similarly, the events in our lives can be interpreted as obstacles or as catalysts for growth, depending on our perspective. The key lies in how we choose to perceive our experiences. When we face difficulties, it is easy to fall into the trap of victimhood, believing that the world is conspiring against us. But what if this opposition were nothing more than a force designed to strengthen us? Imagine a river encountering a rock in its path. From a limited perspective, the rock might seem like an insurmountable obstacle. However, the river does not stop. It flows around, over, and through the rock. In doing so, it adapts, strengthens, and continues its journey. Likewise, the obstacles in our path are not there to halt us, but to teach us how to navigate forward. At this point, it is crucial to mention synchronicity, that mysterious, meaningful coincidence that appears in the most unexpected moments. Carl Jung described synchronicity as the intersection of external and internal events that lack an apparent causal connection, yet are deeply intertwined in meaning. These synchronicities serve as reminders that the universe does not operate chaotically, but with an intrinsic order that transcends our linear understanding of time and space. When you start paying attention to these signs, you realize that coincidences are not mere accidents but winks from the universe, signaling that you are on the right path. Perhaps you are going through a crisis, feeling lost and directionless, and just at that moment, someone appears with words of encouragement, or you come across something that seems to answer your deepest questions. These moments are like beacons of light in the darkness, reminding us that we are never truly alone on our journey. Moreover, this idea intertwines with the notion that our intentions and emotions act as magnets, attracting experiences that resonate with our energy. The law of resonance suggests that we emit vibrations that interact with the energetic field of the universe, and these frequencies determine what experiences manifest in our lives. When we cultivate an attitude of trust and openness, we begin to attract circumstances that reflect that same energy. However, before aligning with this resonance, we must first accept where we are right now. Acceptance does not mean resignation. Rather, it is a recognition that every experience, no matter how difficult, has a purpose. By accepting our circumstances, we can begin to transform them. This leads to a fundamental truth. The power to reshape our lives does not lie in changing external circumstances, but in altering our relationship with them. As we deepen this understanding, a shift in our perception of time emerges. What seems like a setback or delay is, in reality, a recalibration of the universe, aligning us with something greater. Time is not linear. It is a vast network where everything is connected. What we seek already exists in a different plane of reality, and our current experiences are preparing us to receive it. Here, patience and faith become our greatest allies. Patience is not merely passive waiting, but an act of trust that everything is unfolding at its rightful time. And faith is not blind belief, but an inner certainty that the universe is always working in our favor, even when we cannot yet see the full picture. Imagine climbing a mountain. From the base, the path may seem endless and full of obstacles. But as you ascend, your perspective changes. What once appeared as meaningless chaos now reveals its order. From the summit, you can see how every trail, every turn, and every ascent were part of a journey designed to bring you to where you are now. This is life. Each experience, each challenge, is shaping a unique path leading you toward your highest purpose. As we continue exploring this message, it is essential to grasp a truth that often eludes our awareness. The universe is not working against us. It acts as a mirror reflecting our own vibrations, thoughts, and emotions. However, this reflection does not always appear as we wish. Often, it disguises itself as challenges, delays, or conflicts that seem to hinder our progress. But what if these apparent difficulties were actually the necessary adjustments to align us with a greater purpose? To understand this, we must recognize that life is an ongoing dialogue between us and the universe. Every thought we have, every decision we make, and every emotion we feel emits a signal, a frequency that interacts with the flow of existence. In return, the universe sends us experiences that may not always mirror what we desire, but do reflect what we need in order to grow, learn, and evolve. This principle may seem abstract, but it manifests in very tangible ways. Think about those moments when everything seemed to be going wrong, only to realize later that those experiences led you exactly where you needed to be. Perhaps you lost a job, faced a difficult relationship, or felt stuck in a dead end. At the time, these situations felt like failures, like insurmountable trials. But looking back, you can see how each one pushed you in a new direction, taught you something essential, or helped you uncover an inner strength you didn't know you had. Resilience is the key here, the ability not only to endure adversity, but to transform it into an opportunity for growth. In this process, we realize something crucial. We are not victims of our circumstances. We are co-creators of our reality. A conscious decision to perceive each experience as an opportunity for learning, growth, and transformation allows us to undergo a profound shift in how we relate to life. Synchronicity, that mysterious phenomenon that links seemingly unrelated events, plays a crucial role in this process. These synchronistic occurrences are not mere coincidences. They are signs that we are aligned with the universal flow. Perhaps you have experienced this before. Just when you need it most, the right person appears, an unexpected opportunity arises, or you come across a message that directly answers your questions. These occurrences are not accidental. They result from being attuned to the energetic field that interconnects all things. The principle cause and effect also provides valuable insight. Every action we take has a consequence, whether visible or unseen. However, these outcomes do not always materialize immediately. They may take weeks, months, or even years to become apparent. This is why trusting the process is essential. We may not always witness the immediate results of our actions, but that does not mean they are not unfolding. Every step we take, Every choice we make contributes to the grand design of our lives. Imagine planting a tree. At first, there are no visible results, just a patch of soil where a seed was placed. Yet with time and proper care, that seed begins to sprout, eventually growing into a strong and resilient tree. This process demands patience, trust, and a commitment to nurture the seed even when no visible progress is evident. Similarly, our decisions and efforts in life require the same kind of faith and perseverance. Ultimately, the belief that everything is working against us is an illusion created by the mind when faced with uncertainty. However, upon deeper reflection, we realize that the unknown is not an adversary, but a fertile ground filled with possibilities. Every challenge we encounter, every setback we endure, is an invitation to expand our awareness, open ourselves to new ways of being, and connect with the deepest truth of who we are. Life's current never ceases to move. At times, we may feel it pulling us toward unfamiliar territories, away from what we consider safe or desirable. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of seeming chaos that the most profound truths are revealed. Life does not lead us to what we want, but rather to what we need. And if we can accept this flow, if we allow ourselves to be carried by its currents, we discover that what once appeared as obstacles were actually stepping stones guiding us toward our true essence. Embracing this truth does not come naturally. Our minds, conditioned to seek security and control, resist change and disorder. However, the paradox is that by resisting, we not only prolong our suffering, but also distance ourselves from the hidden opportunities that challenges bring. Life does not conspire against us. Rather, it acts as a mirror, reflecting the aspect of ourselves that need transformation and the paths we must take for growth. Understanding this dynamic is easier when we consider the concept of polarity, which teaches that every experience has two aspects: pain and purpose, chaos and order, resistance and acceptance. Polarity does not imply contradiction. It signifies balance. Just as night gives way to day and a seed transforms into a plant after enduring the darkness of the soil, each moment in our lives is designed to guide us from a state of limitation to a state of expansion. This invites us to reflect on how we interpret adversity. The mind tends to label experiences as good or bad based on their immediate impact on our lives. However, this classification is an illusion because what may seem like failure today can become the foundation for success in the future. Consider the bamboo plant, which spends years developing its roots underground before suddenly shooting up toward the sky within weeks. This period of invisible growth is not wasted time. It is essential preparation. Imagine navigating a labyrinth where every wrong turn seems to lead you further from the exit. Yet, from a broader perspective, each detour is actually guiding you toward a key point on your path, teaching you something crucial for the journey ahead. Life, like this labyrinth, is not designed to confuse us, but to lead us toward a destination that can only be reached through the lessons we learn along the way. At this point, a natural question arises. How can we learn to trust this process, especially when we are in the midst of uncertainty? The answer lies in shifting our perspective, moving away from resistance and control and toward curiosity and observation. This does not mean abandoning our dreams or goals, but rather recognizing that the path to them may be different from what we had envisioned. One of the fundamental principles that supports this shift in perspective is the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is temporary. Our emotions, our circumstances, and even our struggles. When we truly grasp this, we understand that even the most difficult experiences are transient and that every phase of our journey, no matter how painful, is meant to pass. Impermanence is not a threat. It is a promise that everything is in constant transformation. This shift in perspective leads us to an even deeper realization. We are not separate from the flow of life. We are part of it. Just as a drop of water is part of the ocean, our individual experiences are woven into a greater whole, operating with intelligence beyond our comprehension. Recognizing this connection invites us to relinquish the need to control every detail and instead trust that, even when we cannot see the bigger picture, we are being guided toward what we need. At this stage, it is helpful to explore the role of our emotions in this process. Emotions are not merely reactions to our circumstances. They are signals directing our attention to what needs healing or adjustment. For instance, sadness is not just a burden we carry. It is an invitation to reflect on what we value and what we are ready to release. Similarly, anger is not merely an outburst of energy. It is a sign that something in our lives is out of alignment and requires change. When we learn to listen to our emotions rather than suppress or judge them, we begin to see them as allies rather than adversaries. This shift in our relationship with emotions allows us to navigate challenges with greater clarity and purpose, recognizing that even the most uncomfortable feelings carry messages we need to hear. Another crucial element of this journey is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite gesture or a superficial exercise. It is a powerful tool that helps shift our energy and attract experiences aligned with our vibrational state. When we choose to focus on what we have rather than what we lack, we start to recognize the blessings present even in the most difficult moments. Picture yourself walking through a dark forest where every step feels heavier than the last. But as you continue, you begin to notice small rays of light filtering through the trees, subtle yet constant. These beams of light represent the blessings we often overlook because we are too focused on the shadows. Gratitude helps us perceive that light, acknowledging that even amidst darkness, there is something to cherish and appreciate. Ultimately, this transformative journey leads us to a place of self-awareness and inner confidence. We realize that we do not need to have all the answers or know every detail of the path ahead. What truly matters is the willingness to take the next step, trusting that the ground beneath us will reveal itself as we move forward. In doing so, we discover that life is not only working in our favor, but is also designed to help us remember who we truly are. Life is not a static event, but a continuous flow of experiences, seemingly chaotic yet deeply interconnected within a tapestry of purpose and learning. When everything appears to be against us, it is often when the universe is working most intensely in our favor. To recognize this, we must elevate our perspective, transcend the illusion of separation, and begin to see how every piece fits into a greater design. At this point in our journey, the key lies in understanding that our experiences do not happen in isolation. Every event we encounter, from moments of joy to our most profound challenges, is intricately linked to our intentions, beliefs, and emotions. Here, the concept of reflection becomes essential. This principle suggests that the external world acts as a mirror, reflecting not only what we think and feel, but also the lessons we need to learn in order to move forward. This is where the concept of radical acceptance becomes crucial. Radical acceptance does not mean resigning ourselves to circumstances or tolerating the intolerable. It means acknowledging reality exactly as it is, without resistance or judgment. When we practice radical acceptance, we stop fighting against reality and begin working with it. This shift in perspective allows us to see our circumstances not as problems to be solved, but as opportunities for growth. Visualize this. You are navigating a river, and the current starts to intensify. Your initial instinct might be to paddle against the flow, struggling to maintain control. However, the more you fight, the more exhausted you become, and the harder it is to move forward. Now imagine letting go of the oars and allowing the current to carry you. Suddenly, you realize that the current is not there to hinder you. It is there to guide you, to take you to a place you could not reach on your own. This change in perspective also helps us understand the role of time in our lives. We often feel that time is working against us, that we lack the time to achieve our goals, or that delays are a sign of failure. But when we observe time from a broader perspective, we realize that it is not linear. It is a flow that adjusts to our internal rhythm. Delays are not punishments. They are necessary pauses that allow us to realign with our purpose. Additionally, synchronicity serves as a constant reminder that we are not alone on this journey. These meaningful coincidences act as road signs, guiding us toward where we need to be. Perhaps you are struggling with an important decision, and at that very moment, you come across a message, a conversation, or an opportunity that seems to answer your questions. These synchronicities are not accidental. They are the universe's way of communicating with you, showing you that you are on the right path. Another essential aspect of this process is working with our beliefs. Many of the limitations we face do not exist in the external world, but within our own minds. Beliefs such as, I am not enough, I don't deserve success, or things always go wrong act as invisible barriers that prevent us from seeing the opportunities right in front of us. But when we begin to challenge these beliefs and replace them with truths that reflect our authenticity, our lives begin to transform. Imagine wearing glasses that distort everything you see. Every time you look at the world, everything appears blurry or out of place. But these glasses are not permanent. You can take them off at any moment. When you do, you realize that the world was never a problem. The issue was how you were seeing it. This is the power of working with our beliefs. It allows us to change our perspective and, in doing so, change our reality. Ultimately, accepting that everything is working in our favor, even when it appears to be against us, requires a profound shift in our relationship with ourselves and the world. It requires trusting that every experience, no matter how challenging, has a purpose and that each one is an opportunity for expansion. By making this shift, we discover that life is not something that happens to us. It is something we create moment by moment with every choice, every thought, and every emotion. At this point in the journey, it is inevitable to reflect on the power we have to shape our perception. When everything seems to be against us, the tendency is to fall into despair, to believe that life is punishing us or that we are victims of an unfair fate. However, this thought stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of how reality works. The truth is that life does not happen to us. Life responds to who we are, how we think, and most importantly, how we choose to perceive it. Perception acts as a filter that determines not only how we interpret the events of our lives, but also what opportunities and solutions we are able to see. Think of perception as a pair of lenses. Depending on the glasses you wear, the world may appear dark and hostile or full of possibilities and hope. Changing this filter is not a superficial act. It is a deep process of self-discovery that invites us to question our most ingrained beliefs and open ourselves to new ways of seeing and experiencing life. A powerful tool in this process is conscious focus, which invites us to direct our attention toward what is working rather than what seems to be failing. This does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is fine when it is not. It means recognizing that even in the midst of adversity, there's always something to appreciate, something to learn, and something to be grateful for. This shift in focus allows us to move from fear to curiosity, from resistance to acceptance, and from frustration to creativity. Imagine being caught in a storm. The wind is strong, the rain is intense, and it seems like there is no shelter in sight. But as you look closer, you notice a cave in the distance, a place where you can take refuge and reflect. The storm does not disappear immediately, but inside the cave, you find the clarity to plan your next move. This is the power of conscious focus. It does not eliminate life storms, but it helps us find the refuge we need to navigate through them. Another crucial aspect of this process is understanding that our perceptions are not set in stone. They are shaped by our beliefs, past experiences, and expectations. Many times, we face challenging situations not because life is inherently difficult, but because we are viewing reality through lenses distorted by fear, doubt, or resentment. By working to change these lenses, we can radically transform our experience of reality. This is where the concept of conscious responsibility comes into play. Responsibility is not the same as blame. Blaming ourselves for our circumstances only perpetuates a cycle of victimization and self-criticism. But taking responsibility for how we interpret and respond to our circumstances gives us the power to transform them. Conscious responsibility reminds us that while we cannot always control what happens around us, we can always choose how we react. Visualize this. You're walking along a path and come to a fork in the road. One path appears dark and full of obstacles, while the other seems clearer and more accessible. From an external perspective, both paths are part of the same terrain, but your experience of each depends on which one you choose to walk and how you decide to face it. Similarly, life constantly presents us with choices, and our experience depends on the decisions we make in each moment. Conscious responsibility also invites us to explore how our emotions influence our perception. When we feel trapped by fear or anger, it is easy to see the world as a threatening place. But when we cultivate emotions like gratitude, trust, and hope, we begin to see possibilities where we once saw only problems. This shift does not happen overnight. But it is a process we can practice every day, starting with small steps, such as noticing and appreciating the positive aspect of our lives, no matter how small. Furthermore, this process leads us to delve deeper into the concept of impermanence, which teaches us that everything in life is in constant flux. The emotions we feel today, no matter how intense, are not permanent. The circumstances we face, no matter how challenging, will also pass. When we understand this, we find comfort in knowing that we are not trapped in our current experiences. We are in a constant state of transformation. Finally, this process of shifting our perception and assuming conscious responsibility leads us to a place of empowerment. We realize that we are not at the mercy of external circumstances. We have the power to choose how we live, how we interpret our experiences, and how we create our reality. And by making these choices from a place of authenticity and purpose, we discover that life is not against us. It is working in our favor, helping us remember our strength, resilience, and infinite potential. This is how our actions, thoughts, and emotions influence the energetic field around us. Every decision we make, every emotion we feel, generates ripples that shape our experience and that of others. In this context, trusting the process becomes a fundamental pillar. Often, we seek immediate results, clear sign that our actions are making an impact. However, conscious creation requires patience and faith. We may not always see the fruits of our choices right away, but that does not mean they are not growing. Just as a seed needs time and care to become a tree, our intentions and actions require time to fully manifest. This process also invites us to examine our relationship with control. The need to control every aspect of our lives stems from fear, the belief that if we do not maintain a firm grip, everything will fall apart. Yet true mastery is not found in control, but in surrender. When we yield to the flow of life, we allow the universe to guide us toward experiences beyond what we could have imagined. This does not mean becoming passive. Rather, it means acting with intention and purpose while maintaining the flexibility to adapt to the present moment. At this stage, we also begin to recognize how our actions and choices affect others. The interconnection of all things becomes evident, and we realize that every decision we make has an impact beyond ourselves. Perhaps a seemingly small act of kindness inspires someone else to do the same, creating a ripple effect that transforms not only our lives, but also the lives of those around us. Visualize this. You are part of an infinite web of connections, where each thought and emotion is a thread contributing to the larger design. When you act from a place of love, authenticity, and purpose, you strengthen the threads that hold this network together, generating a positive impact that extends beyond the visible. This interconnection is not a burden. It is an opportunity to be a catalyst for change, a conscious creator of both your life and the world. Another crucial aspect of this stage is the integration of all the lessons learned along the way. Acceptance, conscious responsibility, trust in the process, and surrender to the flow become daily practices that transform our perspective and experience. These practices do not eliminate life's challenges, but they equip us with the tools to face them with clarity, compassion, and purpose. In this context, the concept of alignment becomes essential. Alignment is not a static state, but a dynamic process of continuously tuning into our deepest truth. When we are aligned, our actions, thoughts, and emotions work in harmony, creating a flow that facilitates the manifestation of our intentions. However, this alignment requires honesty, the courage to look within and ask ourselves, am I living in accordance with my values? Am I making choices from a place of fear or from a place of love? Imagine tuning an instrument. At first, the strings may be out of tune, creating a discordant sound. But with patience and attention, you adjust each string until they all work together to produce a beautiful melody. This is what alignment looks like in our lives. It is not always perfect, but every adjustment brings us closer to a state of harmony and authenticity. Ultimately, this journey leads us to a place of profound gratitude. Gratitude is not just a feeling. It is a practice that helps us stay connected to the present and recognize the blessings that surround us, even amid challenges. When we practice gratitude, we shift our vibration, attracting more experiences that reflect that positive energy. Gratitude reminds us that while we may not always control our circumstances, we can always choose how we respond to them. Visualize this. You are at the end of a long day, watching the sky at sunset. Clouds may have covered the sky throughout the day, yet now the sun paints it with brilliant colors, reminding you that even the most difficult days contain moments of beauty and meaning. Gratitude is at sunset. It is the act of finding light even in the darkest moments.